I'm Edward Sabo from the First 1000 channel. In general, we're talking here about being a YouTuber and how to move from being an employee to a side hustle. Today we'll talk about tools of trades for a YouTuber. So as such, today we'll talk about the OnePlus 8 Pro. This is the latest flagship from OnePlus, which until now it was called the flagship killer, and now with this phone they actually moved into another territory, which is actually the territory of the flagship. If you want to skip to characteristic of the phone, I put chapters down below and you can skip at your liking. If you stay until the end, I will show you an issue that the OnePlus Pro has and how it can be fixed. Let's talk about design and build. The phone is an absolute premium piece of hardware. It is glass with aluminium. It's very smooth at the feel. It's not a fingerprint magnet, which is great. It has all the 4 cameras here, or actually 3 cameras here on the back. It has a thickness. It's actually pretty great. It has a curved type screen, which I kind of not enjoy myself, but I'm getting used as I go along with the phone. Everything screams premium, even from the box itself. OnePlus provided us with a very nice unboxing experience. It has a very nice box, red and 8 is actually the sign of good luck in Chinese culture, and probably that goes hand in hand. It has an always-on feature and also comes off the box with a nice cover. And in my opinion, that's the best cover that you can actually get for this phone. It also has a frosted never settle in it. Let's see if you can actually see it or not. And that's actually a great idea. I never seen something like this. So let's talk about the cover design. It actually has these proud corners, and not just proud corners, the whole area around here at the bottom, to protect the screen from falling and from breaking. Has the always on feature, and it has a nice experience. Actually, to tell a little interesting story, I actually bought this phone as a result of having my OnePlus 5T broken, a jogging accident with my son. It just flew off my pocket and it landed on the concrete, turning in pieces. I replaced the screen in the meantime, but I did something with the volume button, and actually I can't use the volume button anymore. I can adjust it just from the software itself. Now this is, if you compare these two, this is the grandfather or grandmother of this phone, and this is the nephew or the son. They are both great phones. I had this phone for 4 years, and to tell the truth, I'm still enjoying the experience. It's a flat screen versus this one that is a round curved screen. Let's talk about the display. The display is actually a piece of art. I never seen a more immersive experience such as this screen, except the fact that it's curved. The screen is absolutely fabulous, and when I say that, the whole experience, how it's going with butter. We have the 60, you can choose between 60 Hz and 120 Hz, and the 120 Hz is actually functioning in all the applications, and in how the Quad HD Plus screen it's running. Display, it's actually 120 Hz fluid AMOLED, and it has a 6.78 inch diagonal. It's an absolute great piece of engineering. The screen, I think, is the best screen that I ever seen in all the phones, whether it's iPhone or in the Android family. It's smooth as butter when you go up and down the screen, and due to the Oxygen OS Android feature, is actually a very great package software, and it's a very great experience. The main difference, I think, between other companies and this company. And OnePlus is the fact that OnePlus actually is listening to their fans, and it's putting in all the features for the next iteration. I already had, I think, 2 or 3 updates since I have it, and I couldn't be happy about the screen. It has a motion graphics rendering engine, which is new. I think it's part of the Snapdragon 865 experience, and what it's doing is actually taking off the blurriness of the movies that you watch. Sometimes that can be a great experience, sometimes it can't be, depending on the movie that you watch. But all in all, it's a great immersive experience whenever you watch something, whether it's content or it's a movie on Netflix and so on. In regards with security, it has a fingerprint feature. I'm not quite happy with that one. Sometimes it's running, sometimes it's not, depending on what fingers you have, and it's actually driving me crazy sometimes. It also has a face lock, which I think that's great, especially now with the COVID-19, that you have a mask. It's actually focusing on your eyes, and it's opening very quick the phone. People are arguing that it is a less secure unlock, but look, I'm not quite worried about locking and unlocking. In all honesty, who will steal your phone? Because the phone, we are always carrying our phones with us in our pockets and everywhere. So I'm not quite afraid about that security feature. So I rather prefer, like on the OnePlus 5T, on the back. So on OnePlus, if you listen, the next iteration on your phone, please don't put the in-screen touch finger touch. Put it actually on outside. It's actually in a more natural position, and the phone can open very quick. You can actually see the screen difference between these two. I don't think this one is at full brightness. I think it's an auto. This one is at full brightness, and okay, let's unlock this one. See, it doesn't do it. It's actually I have to put it in the back, because otherwise the screen can't focus on it. But as I told you, the display is a piece of good engineering. So let's talk about cameras now. The main camera is a 48 megapixel camera with the f1.8, 25mm wide, and it has another camera, or telephoto, which is 8 megapixel camera with the f2.4 with 3 optical zoom, and a 48 megapixel camera with the f2.2 ultra wide, which is a great camera actually, and a 5 megapixel color filter camera, which is a really interesting camera in regards, it has a weird telechromatic feature. I think they pulled it out in the last update, but it was really interesting. You can actually take pictures through plastic. I cannot understand why they did it. Maybe it's just a novelty and such, but it was there. Talking about the selfie camera, that's one single camera of 16 megapixel, f2.5 wide, auto HDR, and unfortunately it's not going on 4K like the back camera. It's just going up to 1080 with 30 frames per second. About sound speakers, they are stereo speakers. It doesn't have a 3.5mm jack. You can see here it has two speakers, and also up here, around here. From what you can do with the cameras and what type of adjustment you have time lapse, panorama, slow motion, video, photo, portrait mode, nightscape, and you have a pro feature in which you can adjust the ISO, the white balance, the aperture, and contrast, and many more. And it's a pretty neat camera. Probably the only two things that it's missing, in my opinion, it's the selfie camera. It would be nice if it has a 4K camera, and also if it would have a bokeh feature when you film, so when you do videos. It has a portrait mode and it is doing a defocus background, but it doesn't have the video as such. I understood with the new Android 11, it still has an Android 10 on it. I think that feature will be available. I'm waiting very patiently for that. Some other features that they are great, it's the switch off vibration and silent mode. I think that's a great feature in my opinion. I think this was copied from the iPhone in the early days, but nevertheless this is a great feature, and I like that OnePlus is taking the best things from both worlds. Why not? I mean, you can emulate success, and that's great. Let's talk about Oxygen OS. Many people are saying, and I'm a strong believer as such as well, that this is the best thing, I think, even than just the default Android that is going on Pixel phones and so on. It's the fastest, most fluid experience that I had. And the good news about it is I had this phone, which is the OnePlus 5T. It's what 4 generations old, and although that it has just a 60 Hertz display, it's still, the experience is great. Usually whenever I had the phone, it wouldn't last me more than 2 years because it would slow down due to bloatware or Android. This phone, it doesn't have bloatware, and in all honesty, it's doing everything. Charging. This is the first phone in the OnePlus family that has wireless charging on the back. Unfortunately, the only wireless charger that I have, it's in the car. It's working, but the problem is that because the phone is that long, it just barely fits in the tray. But in all honesty, you don't need wireless charging. You have the warp cable or warp brick, and the charging is phenomenal. I had the phone at 0 at one stage, and basically in 10 minutes I had it at I can't remember, 20 something percent. It's just mind-blowingly fast, and it also has a feature, an AI feature, that it will adjust the charging based on the time that is actually sensing that you're not using the phone. So especially at night time, instead of doing it straight in flat out, it will actually expand the charging time based on the time that you are not using the phone. It's learning that, and it's a really great feature. Charging is never a problem. Also the battery life itself, if I use it on 120 Hertz, which I'm using it, why not? It's there. I can get probably a full day, no problems. At probably 8 o'clock at night or 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock at night, I still have about 17% or 12%, depending how much I use it. But I use it, I'm a heavy user, I'm watching a lot of content on my phone, so the battery is pretty great. The battery, it's a lithium polymer battery. It has 4510 milliamps per hour. It's non-removable, obviously, and the fast charging brick, it's at 30 watts. It's advertising it goes to 50% in 23 minutes, and that's actually correct. So it also has a reverse charging capability. I never used it. I don't have other wireless devices around the house, but from what I've seen, it's working fine with other phones. So it's no drama there. It also has a wireless charger, a OnePlus wireless charger, which you can't buy in Australia, unfortunately. You can't buy actually OnePlus in Australia either, so this is what's called a grey import. But I heard that's a 70 watts charger, and it even has a fan inside, so it's cooling down the phone or the charger, because it's warming up allegedly. But I heard that it's a little bit noisy. I don't know how noisy. It's a feature that maybe I'm alright to buy it or not, but I'm really happy with the charging that brick is giving me. I mean, if I need it during the day, which it doesn't happen because you have enough battery, it shouldn't be a problem. From connectivity, we have VLAN, Wi-Fi 802, 11 AB, GN, and AC6, dual band Wi-Fi direct, DLNA, hotspot, Bluetooth is a 5.1, which is pretty good, but it had an issue, but that was about software, it wasn't about the Bluetooth itself. NFC, and it has a USB-C Type-C 3.1 plug in here, so it doesn't have 3.5 jack, so you need wireless phones or you need an adapter, which it doesn't have. It doesn't come even with, it doesn't come with headphones either. Okay, so let's talk about value now. I paid on this phone about 1,000 Australian dollars, which is probably about 899 or 800 US dollar. This is a great import, as I told you before. You can't find this phone in Australia. Is this a good value for this phone or not? Now, having in mind that right now OnePlus actually hit the territory of flagship phones, and in the flagship phones, the only phones that I see actually in the same class or a little bit above the class are the Samsung S20 Ultra and probably iPhone 12 that just appeared now on the market. Even iPhone 11, it's within the same mark. Yeah, I would say it's a close third or a close fourth, depends on how you look at it. There are a few things that are bothering me. So as I told you, the curved screen, it's not kind of my cup of tea, and also the fact that it doesn't have a 4K front camera, which is very important in my opinion. As I told you, this is a tool of trade for a YouTuber, so hence I would always like to have the phone like this if I'm vlogging, and that's a front camera because I can see myself where I'm going and so on. Of course I can put a ultra wide on the back, but that's not the point that I'm trying to make here. So is it worth it for a YouTuber? Well, if you don't have other option, and this is a fourth in your rank, I reckon this is the phone for you. The display, and now let's talk about the good things. The display and the speed of this phone, they are phenomenal. So I haven't seen any Android that is going so well, and I dare to say that even iPhone, it's not on the same page as it is this 120 Hertz display. Samsung has a 120 Hertz, but is a little bit laggier than this. I will do a review of Samsung a little bit later. Am I happy with it? Yes, I am. And especially when I'm watching content, I tell you what, it's very immersive, although those curved bezels are still annoying me. But all in all, this phone is great. It's a great phone, and for whatever OnePlus came from, I remember when it was the OnePlus 4, I didn't have the OnePlus 4. I actually jumped in the train of OnePlus, as I told you, at 5T. Then I bought another 6T, and now I just jumped straight to OnePlus8 Pro. I'm happy with this phone. However, I think I'm gonna sell it and I'll buy a Samsung S20 Ultra or an S20. We'll see how it goes. In my opinion, that phone it might tick all the checklists for a YouTuber, and especially that has the S Pen that you can use as a remote. I think that's a great feature. Of course, you can buy Bluetooth remote for this phone as well, and of course you can use a gimbal and DJI stick. Of course, you can do a lot of things, but if you have this phone, you can still do the job with it. I actually linked at the end of this video my video that I did vlogging with this phone. I did it both with the front camera and the rear camera, so you can have a comparison and you can judge it yourself if it's something that you would consider or not. My opinion, it's horses for courses. As I told you from the beginning, This tech review, it was about if we use this phone as a tool of trade as a YouTuber. As a YouTuber, I have a checklist to actually consider if I have a phone. And these are my probably most important areas to consider. One, it has a 4K camera both on the front and the rear. Preferably they are ultra wide, so you can do a nice vlogging with the phone in any occasion and in any environment. Number two, it has a great display that is immersive and preferably flat. This phone absolutely it nails down the immersive side, and also the graphic. It's absolutely phenomenal. I'm not quite sure. I have to compare it with the Samsung, but I really have to look at it on how it performs against the Samsungs and the iPhone. Number three is if it has video that is with blurred background, both for the front and the rear camera. In this case, the OnePlus doesn't tick that box. It doesn't have defocus background for videos, whether you use the front or the rear camera. I understood that with Android 11 that feature might be available. It has the feature for photos, so you can do photos with the blurred background or bokeh effect, and I done a lot of pictures as such, but that doesn't have it. At this stage it doesn't have it. Another important thing, which I reckon it's an important one, or it might not be, and unfortunately it's just one phone that is ticking that box, whether it's in the last variant or in the previous one, and that's the Note 10 or Note 20, is the fact that they have the S Pen that you can use a remote. I know it might be a gimmicky thing, but out the box, if you can use that feature, it's great. Of course, I can buy a stick with the Bluetooth remote for this phone, but that's not the point. When I'm talking about tool of trade, I'm talking it out the box straight away. All the other bits and pieces, this phone is nailing it. No dramas, no issues. So screen, display, the Android Oxygen OS, absolutely awesome. The experience is quite great, starting from unboxing to use it on every day. Battery is fine. Charging, phenomenal. Glitches, yeah, I had one glitch with the Bluetooth. Yeah, so the only thing that I could find annoying, it was the fact that I couldn't pair the Bluetooth with my car or with other devices that have Bluetooth at the beginning, and it seems that's an issue with the testing app environment that OnePlus put there and forgot to take it out. I gave you the fix just after this bit that I'm talking. So all in all, would I keep this phone as a tool of trade? I don't think I will keep it. I think I will go for an S20, whether Ultra, whether the S20 simple variant. I like the S20, the non-Ultra version, because it has a flat screen. However, that doesn't have the 120 Hz display. The Ultra has the 120 Hz display, but it has a curved display. But as I understood, the curved display is not at such a radius like the OnePlus. So all in all, I hope this helped you, and as I told you, it all depends on whatever you want to do with the phone. Other than that, just using it as a phone, I would have kept it, no dramas. Okay, now enjoy the fix for the Bluetooth. Please subscribe if you found the video great. And I also put the video with the vlogging with the camera, with the OnePlus Pro, both using the front and the rear camera. Have fun, and until next time, stay safe and be strong. So you go in settings, then you go in apps notification, you check here, you put BT in it, and it comes with BT test application. You press BT test application and then you press force stop. My force stop is already done, so and disabled, and then your device should pair with any other device that was paired with before, and you don't have to do it manually every time you go in the car, or you connect with the Bluetooth headset phone or headphone.